On the pitch, the Philippines have been fantastic. We beat Cambodia 8-0, second highest victory ever for the Philippines. Off the pitch, there's a hell of a lot to learn. The stadiums were half full again, and there were a lot of tickets given away as raffle prizes, draws, all these different kinds of prizes, and given away to some very, very deserving causes. But still only half full stadiums. Why do you think, Nate, what do you think the biggest reason is for the poor attendance?
Well, I think, and you've pointed this out in your articles, but us being there ourselves, personally, right, during all these matches, we're seeing less and less people attending, and I think we can attribute that to the prohibitive prices of these tickets, which is surprising now that supposedly, well, we verified it for ourselves that of course football is gaining in popularity, and I think this is no way to make it more popular to the general public and to the masses by keeping prices high.
Anto, as a player and having played for the national team many times, how much does it mean to the players to have a full and a noisy crowd?
It's very important. They're what we call the 12th man, so to speak.
Nice plug.
And
Suave.
free dinner. Okay.
Ako din na.
So like with just even 5,000 people shouting at you, you give that extra mile. You know, you do that for the crowd.
If 5,000 people were shouting at me, I'd run a mile. But yeah, it's just because you often see when a team goes behind, if a crowd gets behind them, the players really respond. And how important is that for the players, really?
You'd be more afraid to commit mistakes because there's like 5,000, 10,000 people who's gonna shout at you.
Just as some comparison, Nepal, the football powerhouse that they are, after the Askals beat them in 2011 4-0 at Rizal Memorial Stadium, they were one of only 2 group hosts not to qualify.
Right.
Their average attendance for their games was 16,000. And there are obviously far more people in the Philippines. We've seen great attendances. The Peace Cup, I think all of them were full, if I remember
thereabouts,
right.
yeah.
And the tickets back then were 500 pesos were the most expensive. Just to give a bit of comparison, these games, the most expensive ticket was 2,500 pesos. If you want to compare the Suzuki Cup final, the most prestigious competition in Southeast Asia, the final tickets for the first leg or the second leg in Singapore or in Thailand were 700 pesos, 22 Singapore dollars. Why do you think the organization, the management, not the playing or coaching staff, of course, but the organizers, have made it almost 4 times more expensive?
I think, and we were, just discussing among friends. None of us are economists, clearly, but I think it is.
Actually, my bachelor's is partly in economics.
So maybe you can confirm. But I think some basic economics are in play. They're saying that of course, regardless, there are just 13,000 seats, and yet we're still unable to fill it, right? So it is a chicken and egg problem because they're saying that they have to raise the prices because we only have so much seats, as opposed to, for example, Rajamangala Stadium in Thailand has 40,000, which is triple the size of Rizal. How much more, let's say, Bukit Jalil, which is seats 100,000. Bung Carnos, it's 100,000 as well. And we're just we have a stadium that's 10%, right, of these capacities. So yes, ticket prices will go up because of the limited demand, but still, again, because of that, we are unable to fill that rather small stadium by regional standards. So it is a growing concern. Now, do we have to build a bigger stadium therefore to bring ticket prices down? That's another issue, because of course I know we are in the process. There is of course private groups who are constructing stadiums bigger than Rizal, but again, I'm sure if the objective really, if we go back to that, which is to make football more accessible, get more people into the sport, learning it, appreciating it, I'm not sure that this is the way to go, at least as far as ticket prices are concerned. I'm sure there are ways of, instead of just, you know, giving them away, right?
I honestly think some people are being short-sighted. We have to bring football to the masses, and if they could just give free tickets, go for it. The important thing is you get the interest of the people, especially the masses, because they're the ones who are very huge in number. Okay, in Metro Manila, I think football is an elite sport as of the moment.
Yes.
If you go to the stadium a lot, those who watch are mostly, you know, those who are in the average class, middle class, and upper middle class. So it's very important for us to bring the sport in the masses by, you know, making football more accessible.
But although, let's face it, also the stadium itself is not the most accessible. I mean, it's in a, you know, it's a rather awkward place. You know, people would love to come. I've spoken to friends and who are, you know, fellow football fans, and they're saying, we'd love to come, but there's just nowhere to park. You know, and then if it rains, we've all seen what happened when it rained during that Cambodia match. Thankfully, it also rained goals. But you know, if it weren't for that, I think people would have been a bit disappointed seeing what had happened. And of course, you know, the upkeep of the stadium itself, I think, is still, you know, pretty wanting. So I guess it's also turning off a lot of people to come over and watch.
Yeah, apparently a lot of the, in terms of the upkeep, because it's PSC in control of the stadium, they're renting it out for rugby, various other events. Obviously they're very important themselves as well. However, it means the pitch is in a huge state of disrepair. Needs to be fixed before the games, and there's not enough proper time to fix it properly. So a real football stadium is needed for that. But regarding ticket prices, there's, to be fair, absolutely no excuse for putting it more expensive than everywhere else in Southeast Asia. Even more expensive than the most prestigious tournament. Because simply put, it means that you're choking not only the national team, by making football impossible to be financially sustainable, but also grassroots football and domestic leagues with the UFL. So we hope that some of the organisers involved with that can finally understand what it's like, let's say in the white bleachers, and actually visit there once or twice before deciding on ticket prices. The Carrilleros, for example, had to move from the white bleachers to the blue bleachers. I think that's the first time they've ever done that because of the ticket prices. So, on the pitch, there's some great things, there's some great results, and a lot to look forward to. Let's hope off the pitch that some of the organisers don't start choking everything and all of the potential there. So we'll let you know what happens there, any updates we get about that. We'll do some research into ticket prices in the rest of the region too. Follow us at FTW Sports and we'll give you all those updates.